Vote Leave is considering legal action after ITV decided to put Nigel Farage up against David Cameron in an EU referendum TV special. The official Leave campaign had wanted one of its senior figures, Michael Gove or Boris Johnson, to take part and claimed Number 10 had set the rules. ITV rejected claims of a stitch-up, while Mr Farage, UKIP leader, said Vote Leave should put their egos aside. Downing Street says the PM will not debate against other senior Tories. A spokesman said this was because the EU referendum, on June 23, was about much more than who's up and who's down in the Conservative Party. Live televised debates featured in the 2010 general election, with the three contenders for Prime Minister, David Cameron, Gordon Brown and Nick Clegg, taking part. That format was not repeated at the 2015 general election. But after protracted discussions between Downing Street and the broadcasters, Mr Cameron took part in one with 7 party leaders but no head-to-head with Labour's Ed Miliband. Set the rules. In the run-up to the in-out referendum on Britain's EU membership, ITV plans to hold 2 TV specials, including an hour-long live program in which Mr Cameron and Mr Farage will appear one after the other to separately answer questions from a studio audience. Vote Leave is the official campaign for those wanting the UK to leave the EU, a status it was given by the Electoral Commission after it saw off a challenge from the Nigel Farage-backed Grassroots Out. Its best-known campaign figures are senior Conservatives such as Boris Johnson, Mr Gove and others like Ian Duncan Smith, and the thrust of its campaign seeks to be broader than the more immigration-focused UKIP approach. Vote Leave's head of media, Robert Oxley, told BBC Radio 4's Today that while Mr Farage had done a tremendous amount in the referendum, he was not the best person to win over undecided voters. But Mr Farage disagreed, telling the BBC he could better appeal to voters in the Midlands and the north of England than Mr Johnson, who he said was more suited to the home counties. Criticising the decision not to include one of its senior figures, a Vote Leave spokesman said ITV had allowed the Prime Minister to dictate his own opponent. The government has set all the rules for the referendum to give itself every possible advantage. It has also demanded of the broadcasters that the Prime Minister should not have to debate representatives from the official Leave campaign, the spokesman added. In other comments, a Vote Leave source on Wednesday accused ITV of having lied to us in private while secretly stitching up a deal with Cameron. The source said ITV had effectively joined the official in campaign and there will be consequences for its future, saying the people in Number 10 won't be there for long. And a Vote Leave spokesman said on Thursday, "We are discussing legal possibilities to increase the chances that the public will hear the issues properly discussed before they make such an important vote on the future of their democratic rights." Responding to the criticism, ITV said in a statement that it had not lied to anyone, nor has there been any kind of stitch-up. A spokeswoman said Vote Leave had been invited to take part in a separate 2-hour program on June 9 and would have every opportunity to air its view. The ITV statement added, "It was our editorial decision as to who would take part in the June 7 program. The PM called the referendum, and the country wants to hear from him, and Nigel Farage has been a leading proponent of an exit from the EU for more than 20 years and his party received 3.8 votes at the election. We invited them both and they accepted. We think our viewers will find both programs useful in providing information ahead of polling day. Our programming will, as always, be fair, balanced and duly impartial." Meanwhile, Mr Farage accused Vote Leave apparatchiks of trying to block him from appearing on the TV debate and said they were more interested in their careers in the Conservative Party after the referendum. "I have consistently tried to bring our side together. They have consistently tried to marginalise UKIP and divide us. They need to put their egos to one side," he told the BBC. In an appeal for unity, he said he would work with anybody, within reason, to secure a vote to leave on June 23. Mr Farage also accused the BBC of barring him from its planned TV debates, which include a live event at Wembley Arena on June 21. Number 10 says David Cameron will not debate against senior Conservatives who back EU exit, saying it does not want the TV debates turned into a blue-on-blue fight. This is a major national debate and it should not be reduced to a narrow argument within the Conservative Party. We don't want it to become an issue of who's up and who's down in the Conservative Party or seen just through the prism of the Conservative Party, a source said.